Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone who is tuning in live at 7:25 a.m. Welcome to News in Motion. If you are catching us on the replay, whether it be in the afternoon, the evening, or near the nighttime, we just want to say thank you for tuning in to News in Motion, no matter what time of the day, and supporting us. Today we have our annual Thursday segment, Town Hall Thursday, Talk Back Thursday, whatever Thursday you want to call it. But for today's date, it is June 13th, 2024. Next week, it will be Juneteenth. But this upcoming weekend, we have a special holiday for the men in our lives. We have Father's Day. So stick around. We will also have a segment talking about Father's Day and some of the gifts that will be acceptable for the dads in our life, stepdads, all the fathers in our life. We want to give a salute to you and just know that you are seen, you are appreciated, and that you are loved. For anyone tuning in through audio or podcast, thank you for turning those dials to NIM today. Make sure that you are keeping your eyes on the road. But if you're stationary, please talk with us in the chat. Let us know how you're doing on this Thursday morning. We can also be found on LinkedIn or YouTube. And the YouTube channel is www.youtube.com/GailDeli.com. We will put that link in the chat. Also, if you have any questions, you can email us at NewsInMotionWithGail@gmail.com, or be sure to check out our website at www.GailDeli.com. You can find the e-newsletter and book an appointment with Gail Deli as well. Before we get started with our show for today, a few shout outs to our viewers. Good morning to you, Miss Marion Jackson. Good morning, Miss Regina Shorts. Good morning, Dr. Antoinette. Good morning, Jeff James. And good morning, Miss Adrian. All tuning in through the tubes of you. So, without further delay, we'll be right back after this brief intro.
News in Motion.
What's up, everyone? Jeff, so good to see you in here. Good morning to you. I see you, Virgie, popping up in here as well. Good morning to everyone. I'm trying to see what Isaiah is trying to say to me. I see you, Deborah Johnson. Good morning to you as well. Good morning. All right, y'all. I really thought today was going to be an easy day. We're going to do some Father's Day gifts, some activities for fathers. But y'all, the news cycle is on and popping. So we are still going to put that in there. I love how Isaiah said, I wonder if y'all caught this. He said, we're going to discuss some appropriate gifts for fathers. I was like, well, can we talk about the Mother's Day gifts? Because I don't want a vacuum. I don't want a blender. I don't want any of those things either. So I thought it was really nice that he said that. So I want to get started. But before we do that, I've been sharing with you all, and I want you all to share this with as many people as you can. On next Wednesday, I was able to secure Heidi De La Cruz. She's a podcaster. She's a certified podcast coach and writer. She hosts a weekly personal development newsletter and To My Thoughts on Substack, where she shares life experience. But she's also going to be talking about the American dreams in the eyes of immigrants, where immigrants share their journey of coming to the United States. So, y'all, I'm excited to have her on the show with me, on the show with us next Wednesday, because she has firsthand experience about some of the things that are happening. So when she replied back to my invitation, said I'll be there, I'm so excited. And I know her, but I don't know her like that, just from the work that we do. So we've built a relationship around that. So I'm really excited to have her. So if you want to have more information on her, other people, maybe your jobs or whatnot, invite them to join us Wednesday at 7:25 a.m. live. I think that's going to be an outstanding News in Motion segment. I think it's just going to be outstanding. All right, y'all. It's Talk Back Thursday. I need y'all to talk back to me. Y'all know the rules. Once you stop talking to me, the segment is over. I see you, Lori. Lori, the other day, I'm glad you popped in. I was going to text you and did not. The other day, I keep my cards, and you had given me a card at the book conversations with Gail, and I read it that day on the way to the getting on the plane, and it just really touched me. Well, I read it again yesterday, and it was like, oh my gosh, those words. But what I did not know was when I opened up the journal, because I started putting my Bible study notes in that journal, I did not know you had written in there as well. And I was like, wow, it's amazing how perfect timing. And I needed those words on yesterday. So thank you so much. Good morning, David. Good morning to you. All right, y'all. Again, I want to pop up, Isaiah, if you can, I want to pop up Heidi once again. She's going to be joining us on Wednesday talking about immigrants. She knows very well about what's happening on that border. So make sure you tune in with us on Wednesday morning at 7:25 a.m. Thank you. I see you, Fred Jones. All right, y'all. Dr. Antoinette, I know you probably said, what? Y'all, the Southern Baptist vote, I don't know what they voting, but they did a couple of votes. And one was to vote down the formal ban on churches with female pastors. Official guidelines will restrict pastor roles only to men. So that's happening on this Thursday. And the other thing is that they oppose Southern Baptist votes, oppose use of IVF. I'm like, make up your mind. Do y'all want us to have children or not? Like, what is it? So, yeah, they did that. So the New York Times reported that Southern Baptists voted on Wednesday to oppose the use of in vitro fertilization. The vote was an indication that ordinary evangelicals are increasingly open to arguments that equate embryos with human life. Okay. So, yeah, that happened on Wednesday. I really don't want to give a lot of time to this. Yeah, that happened. And then you had almost, when you think about across the U.S., there's about 13 million church members in the Southern Baptist Convention. I guess they just have a thing that they like or don't like, okay? Dr. Antoinette says, nothing they do surprise me. It is who they are. And Deborah Johnson says, shaking my head. I just sit back and I wonder, I'm like, are you doing this because you believe this? Or are you doing this because that's the rhetoric for the day? Like, help me understand. And I had a flashback. My husband and I had a good little chuckle on this. I said to him, I said, remember when you were pastoring in Oberlin at Mount Zion Baptist Church, and I was invited to be a Women's Day speaker at a church, and the man would not let me sit in the pulpit or go behind the pulpit desk, and it was just crazy, and I had this, and my whole thing was, it's all right, I'm gonna still deliver the message, and I did, but I left there thinking, what was that, and what just happened, and why? Because we were still in the sanctuary, and I still preached the sermon. So help me understand, where does it matter where you preach from? So that just hit me. It just hit me when I was reading all of this. Deborah Johnson says, are they voting down Viagra? Dr. Antoinette said, but they haven't opposed Viagra using their logic. I can't read all this. Is an impotence also God's will? Listen, no, Gail, they believe it. It's just really, really crazy. Really, really crazy. So the craziness kept going yesterday because they keep trying. It's like, if y'all would just work. Stop going after people. Just work. So the House of Representatives voted 216 to 207 yesterday to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for refusing to hand over audio tapes of President Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur. I'm like, are you serious right now? Didn't y'all try? Y'all, they've tried this now. This is the third time. And it's like, what? Like, he knows the law. He was about to become a Supreme Court justice, okay? So why do you continue to do what you're doing? Like, what what is it going to resolve? So they're holding him in contempt. Yeah, that's what's happening. They voted yesterday. He said he's still not going to do anything. So they're now talking about how they're going to escalate this and how it's going to be a big deal. But I want all of you to hear this. This is only a distraction. Okay, this is only a distraction. So don't let them get you off course. Stay on course. Stay focused. They're trying to get the conversation off of the other dude going into his sentencing on July the 11th. Y'all just follow the path. Follow the path. That's what they're doing. And, it's interesting that they're talking about this, but they won't do anything about their guy who wants to get back into the Oval Office. Now, I will not read these emails on this because I don't want to give it that kind of attention. But his emails are disgusting. I don't know if y'all been following any of the social media or news. He's kind of inciting a riot. Okay, that's the only way I can put it. He's talking about they're trying to execute him and they're trying to execute them who's following him. And they got so bad on yesterday. And this is all this fundraising that he's doing. It became so bad yesterday that some of his people are saying, you need to bring it down a notch because this is not okay. So I want y'all to follow that as well. And then on top of that, y'all, did y'all hear about North Dakota? They're like, look, no. If you're 81, you can no longer run for any kind of office in North Dakota. They're not even putting you on the ballot. So yeah, that came out from NBC News. 61% of voters in North Dakota on Tuesday voted to approve a constitutional amendment that would impose age restrictions on candidates in the state seeking federal office. They said they're believed to be the first to be the nation's first of its kind age restriction measure. Yeah, y'all. They're like, you turning 81 in December in a vote year, you can't run. Nope. But they're talking about age. But I love what Biden's administration just did. This is coming out of PBS NewsHour, y'all. The new rule has a new rule proposed by the Biden administration will remove $49 billion, y'all, that's with a B, in medical debt from Americans' credit reports. If finalized, the rule would also ban credit companies from including medical debt in credit histories, prevent lenders from factoring in medical debt to credit eligible decisions, and prohibit lenders from using medical devices as collateral for loans. Y'all, get that. Let me see what some of you are saying, because this is Talk Back Thursday. Dr. Anderson said another riot. Listen, those emails, very concerning. I'm going to say it that way. Those emails are very concerning. So I don't know who's writing them. I don't know. He's probably writing them. But they're because they kind of like are broken up a little bit. Very concerning. I'm on the email list because I want to get the information. I was telling you yesterday, I said, I'm not cutting off people. I want to hear it. But I was reading those. I was like, our intelligence following these things? Because they're that bad. They're that bad. They're that bad. Dr. Antoinette said, ageism, how is that legal? There's that. And Marion Jackson said, those who voted to hold Merrick Garland in contempt are showing how much they don't know the law. There's that. And as Adrian says, well, there's that. And Deborah, got that one already, voting down Viagra. So y'all listen, this rule, it's crazy. But now they want everyone to know, don't stop paying your medical bills just yet. Don't stop doing it. And you should still pay them. But it also says to me, and I want to hear y'all talk back to me on this one today, or at least see your written chat. Because these changes could go into effect on August the 12th, okay? And there's still opportunity for you to write into your representatives, your senator, Congress people, and let them know your thoughts on this, okay? But doesn't this mean, well, then there's something still wrong with our health care, with our health insurance? It comes back to that. If you can do this, there's something still going on. Still talking about money, y'all, the Federal Reserve. Well, yesterday they kept the interest rate steady at a 23-year high and signaled that they expect to reduce rates only once this year. They started the year out saying 3 times. We're now down to 1. We don't even know if that's going to happen. Now, the CPI report was the bomb.com. I don't know if y'all checked that out or not, but that CPI report was great. And the stock market, the trading, the options was phenomenal. But then 2 o'clock came around when Powell came out and said, no, we're going to hold them steady right now. Then everything went crazy. But at the end of the day, stuff rallied back. And I think people are just saying, you know what, you ain't going to cut them. And if you ask me, I think they're getting us used to the fact that this is the new rate. That's just me. I'm nobody, but that's just me. So federal chair Jerome Powell said he's just giving caution. And in a direct quote, he says, inflation has eased substantially, but it's still too high. He said to start cutting rates. So he's just going to hold them there. And the CPI, y'all listen, goods and services became below Wall Street's estimates. Y'all, it was like pre-market, because a report came out at 8:30. I think I told you that yesterday. By 8:31, I went to go just look to see what was happening out there in Wall Street. I said, oh, it's a great day to be a trader. So there's that what's happening, y'all. Grocery prices are only up about 1% from May 2023, which is not bad, which means, came down real well. Gas prices were up about 2.2% on the year, but they fell 3.6% from April. But y'all get this, housing, golly, housing continues to be this, it's off the rail. So they call it shelter prices, y'all, they're up 5.4% on the year. Even if you're trying to sell, it's hard because nobody's buying it at the interest rates that are out there. And on top of that, where are you going? Because there's not a product out there for you to move to. So it's very interesting what's happening here. And then on top of all of that, Investopedia reports that Tesla shareholders will begin their meeting today with a vote of 56 billion. That's what it be, y'all. Compensation package for Elon Musk, and is scheduled. The package was previously voided by the Delaware court, but this vote is scheduled today by noon. Now, why is that in investment? Well, because if they don't pass it, they believe the stock is going to just fold. Now, speaking of the stock, they coming after homie. Y'all, he's facing serious allegations from an institutional shareholder accusing him of using insider information to make billions by selling Tesla stock. That's TSLA stock. The Employees Retirement System of Rhode Island filed a lawsuit on Tuesday claiming that Elon Musk and his brother, Kimball Musk, I didn't even know he had a brother, did y'all? Made $30 billion from stock sales between late 2021 and the end of 2022. The lawsuit requests the courts to order Musk to return these unlawful profits. I'm like, say what? So we don't know what's going to happen today, especially since this lawsuit came out on yesterday. Yeah. So let's keep talking about money, because I think we need to know about these things. And I'm going to have this in the Friday rundown as well. But y'all, there's this report that came out yesterday that just has my eyes going, what? What's up, Pastor? What's up? Y'all, income needed to live comfortably in the States. I'm going to just give you a few of these. And again, I'll have it in the Friday rundown. So y'all, Massachusetts, now this is salary needed for a single working adult. Massachusetts is $116,022. Hawaii is $113,000. This is per year. California, which I thought was very interesting, but California comes together. They're talking to have at least two or more in the household, both making $113,000, but that's just for really like a 600 square foot space. New York will be the same. I'm going to go down to Georgia. Georgia, they're saying for a single person, depending upon where, making $96,886. Regina says, didn't yet Martha Stewart did go to jail for that? Yep. What's up, Shirley Nicholson? So y'all, that's going to be in the Friday rundown. But it's some great information we need to see, because it really connects with the CPI report and the whole housing, what they call shelter, and what's affordable and what's not affordable. So that's out there. So talking about money and all these billions, millions, trillions, and so forth and so on, I'm upset about this one. Oklahoma Supreme Court denies justice to the last two survivors of the violent 1921 Tulsa race massacre. This appeal was likely to the final opportunity for survivors to receive reparations, and they struck it down yesterday. For years, the last two have been fighting for this. And they said, they're just going to move on now. But that is sad. But when I read a story like this and I see the kind of money that's being spent all over the place, what it says to me is we have to do what we need to do when it comes to building our businesses, becoming philanthropists, giving to other people, helping with startups, so forth and so on. We have to do this. That's why I have a great joy when I'm coaching different people through different things, just saying, hey, here's an opportunity for you to give back. So always, because when I'm talking with people, I'm saying to them, okay, but what's your end game? What's your goal? Are you going to do a social enterprise along with your business? And you may be saying, well, what's a social enterprise? Like with Ready Media LLC, our social enterprise is before, when we had the magazine, was tied into high school girls. So we gave back an intensive workshop every summer to high school girls. And then we produced a magazine that was just the high school girls. And then many of them used their articles to get into college and also receive scholarships. We also gave scholarships through Ready Media LLC. We still give scholarship money. And then our other part of social media, as you know, we give to food insecurity. So we're always doing that. So always have a tie-in. Where are you going to give back to help somebody? So that's so important. So when I read that story, I thought we have to do something. So I want to hear from you all in the chat. Audio listeners, good morning to you as well. But what are your thoughts on this? To know that they've been fighting this for years, to know that this happened in 1921. It was a very violent Tulsa race massacre. And the last two people were still fighting, and the Supreme Court struck them down. What are your thoughts? I really want to hear from you. And I'm going to give you all a moment to start just putting it in the chat what your thoughts are. A lot there to digest, especially when you have Elon Musk. He's got $56 billion as a yearly package. Yearly. We're not talking like the rest of his life. Yearly. Dr. Antoinette said, and they told them, I can't read today. And they told them the reason was because it took too long, so their loss has expired. Yeah, I read that. That's a bunch of bull, if you ask me. They just didn't want to do it. And then, like maybe we should start some training. I know Kim Edmondson, I don't know if she's on here or not today. I know Hester, myself, and Kim Edmondson have been trying to get together to look at some things as to what we can do. I know Hester is really in the hotel business, building those hotels and ownership about that. Kim Edmondson is huge on investments in stock and as well as building communities. And I done fell in love with the stock market, like seriously. And even on yesterday, I thought about the fact that, man, if communities had any idea that you can do this with very little money, and you take those profits and you roll them into other investments, or you invest into the community. We were talking, I think it was last week, you all, about, of those abandoned school buildings. What can we do with those? Can we put startup businesses in those abandoned school buildings or abandoned buildings or houses or whatever? And how can they become income generating with the earmark to giving back to the community? Y'all, we can really make some things happen if we are willing to come together and do it. What's up, Mike Nicholson? How's it going? Congratulations. And please tell Skylar I sent him a little something. He should have received it by now. So good morning. I'm glad you're hanging out with us. Deborah Johnson says there is no explanation on loss and its impact. It can go on for generations upon generations upon generations. We just think about it. I'm trying to think how I can say this without telling you all my business. Good morning, Donita. It's good. I don't care how much you have. Please hear me. It is good to have a financial planner. Okay. It's good to have so they can look at everything. And not too long ago, we were sitting down with our financial planner, just looking at, because, when we're knocking on 60, like what are we doing? How are we getting there? What are we leaving? What's our legacy? Let's really have this conversation. Do we have our burial plots? Do we have this, that, and the other? So we're not putting the hardship on our children. Like, what does this look like? And in talking to our financial planner, he was like, y'all look pretty good. I was like, what does that mean? Am I going to be homeless? And, we had this conversation. He says, you have no idea. He said, I have met with so many families who I don't know how they're going to make it from one day to the next. Like, they can't even retire yet, and they're in their 70s. And he was just sharing this information with us. He said, and y'all know, those of you who know me know this. He was like, you can go through your kitchen to a 2-car garage. He said, many people don't have that. He said, then you have 2 cars that actually work. He goes, and the type of cars that leave your garage. He said, many people don't do that. He goes, you probably don't even think about it that way. And I said, wow, kind of like slap me. I don't. I said, because I work every day. He said, yeah. He said, but what happens if that work dries up tomorrow? He said, how do you survive? And it really got me thinking. That's why I really wanted to give y'all all this money information today, to look at it. Come on, y'all, 56 billion. I don't even know what that sounds like or looks like. And how do we roll with that? Looking at Congress, $174,000 a year, complete health benefit package, insurance package, and all other kind of benefits. And I'm not mad at you. If that's your job, that's your job. But that's also our taxpayers' dollars. And you're sitting there trying to bring somebody to contempt, and you won't even deal. Well, you did do it with Merrick Garland, but you won't even deal with the former guy. Like, seriously, like, what are we paying you for? Hester says, yes, communities need to be educated on investments in real estate. Y'all, we do. And we run from that. We are quick to sell a home when someone died. Why are we selling it? Why aren't we fixing it up and turning it into Airbnb, or maybe one side of it's if you have a double duplex, maybe one side of it is an Airbnb, and maybe the other side is something that you're doing for single parents who's trying to get on their feet. I told y'all about in the United Kingdom when I was meeting with their ministry department and how they help single parents. I think it's, what I tell y'all, 18 months. Like, wow. Like, they don't have to pay for anything. They're helping them get on their feet, and getting them a job and getting them a place to live and making sure they have their children are fed. I'm like, why aren't we doing that in America? Why aren't we doing these things? So with that, Hester says, hold on to grandma's house. Listen, hold on to that. With that, I want to transition a little bit to Father's Day. And I wanted to do the entire segment today on fathers, but the news cycle was just moving. So I opened up some ideas for fathers. Now I want to talk about this because I'm wondering, when I put all this together, I'm like, wow, what's the cost to spend a day at the beach? Or what's the cost to send your father, get him a gift certificate for axe throwing, or music, or taking him to breakfast or brunch, or, and people do this, there's a survey out there, or renting a sports car for him for the day, or taking a woodworking class, building a model, whatever, plane or whatever, attending a concert, whatever. I said, what would it look like if you took that money and got a share of NVIDIA, or got a share? Apple was off the chain yesterday. Apple is now in first place. You remember I told y'all NVIDIA moved Apple down in third place 2 weeks ago? Well, now Apple and Microsoft was number one. Well, Apple is now number one. Apple went crazy yesterday in the stock market and knocked everything else down. So y'all thought Apple was dead. No, 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 no. So even if, you buy shares of stock, and you may say, well, guys, share of stock is really expensive. It depends on what it is. NVIDIA did a 10-1 split. NVIDIA was up to $1,212. Now it's $120. So could you buy a share of stock? Because before you say, oh, it's $120, but wait a minute. How much is breakfast? How much is brunch? How much is a movie if the entire family goes to a movie? We have to start thinking different and say, well, why don't we buy the man of our in our life a share of stock? And you may think, oh, it's only one share. The way the stock market is moving right now, that share can double tomorrow. Seriously. And then you can end up with 2 shares. Mike Nicholson says, nah, Gail, we need our gifts. I'm giving you a share of stock, not you. Gail's not giving you anything. I'm saying give them a share of stock. Mike Nicholson said, plus stock. Listen, a share of stock, y'all, that's huge. That's huge. Because when you add up everything else that you're doing, photo shoot, a day at the golfing is not cheap. It's not cheap. Invent a dad-inspired cocktail, a grill, a gas grill. You can buy 2 shares of stock with a gas grill, depending upon what kind of stock you're buying. But y'all, we have to think differently. So here's some more. I'm going to open up some more because I had to go. Can I say something, y'all? Y'all don't mind me saying this, right? I was looking for what to do for Black fathers. I just look at the list and I shake my head. I'm like, okay, we can do that. And I'm going to tell y'all what's on here. Go roller skating. Okay, we can do that. Horseback riding. I'm sorry, betting on horses. But I was looking and saying, why not go horseback riding? What else can we do? But they're night and day. They have a soul food feast. Those things are great, but it's like, should we limit ourselves based upon our culture? Should we not do some additional things? We have Juneteenth coming up, so we can do all those things all next week and the following week. And we can do those things every week or once a month or whatever, because we want to continue our culture. Absolutely. But what else can be a part of it? Tools. Like what are we doing? Can we add more when it comes to tools? What about some different classes? Invest in an investment class for the men in our lives. Mike Nicholson says, watches are investments too. I agree with you. I agree with that. 100%. Which leads me to my next one, Mike. I'm so glad you're here today. Also, going to a Poshmark or eBay to look at some Movado watches, some Rolex watches that you can invest in, and it becomes the investment. See, Mike, I had it on here. That becomes an investment. The other thing is, what can you purchase? Like, can you purchase a dilapidated home or a garage that you're building up? And we don't think that way, but y'all, a garage can turn into a youth center. And you can find some of those on the auction block today. So even stretching your mind with that, Hester says, stretch your mind. Wow, we're on sync today. Don't be afraid to tap into other cultures. Y'all stretch. There's so much out there. So I was just looking at some things that some investors do. You can own stock in a minor league baseball game, baseball team, basketball team, or football team. You don't have to wait to get to the NFL. Now, if you have it, go for it. But you can invest in a minor league team. You can invest in different properties that are being built up. You can have ownership or share in different things that are going up. And right now, y'all, housing, look, everybody wants some housing, okay? You can also invest in art. Art is another way. Find some great art. I was at an event last Friday, Delta Sigma Theta, the Columbus, Ohio chapter. And there was a 20-year-old with some of the most amazing art. Amazing art. Amazing. Even that is an investment. We have to look at things differently. Hester says, just like a container can be turned into a home. Listen, yes, those containers that can be turned into homes and built up, tiny houses. Y'all, we have to stretch our thinking. all of this comes back to voting and what we're doing when we're talking about voting. It's connected. You can disconnect it all you want to, but it is connected. So if you want some other kind of gifts, because you're like, okay, Gail, I don't want to do that. I want some gifts. So if you want some other kind of gifts, and these are going to be in the Friday rundown as well. This is coming out of Good Housekeeping. Now, here's some that I like: a personalized dad sweatshirt with their name on it, or dad, or whatever. You can do your initials. You can put your artwork on it. I don't know if you can get it done by Sunday, but there's a thought for that. A personalized song frame, like with their favorite songs, or get them a Spotify package or something like that. Electronics, all those types of things are out there. Doing a picture book and having it perfect bound, where you're giving it to them of pictures of you and the man in your life, whether it's your biological father or not. You can do the same thing with the t-shirt like you do with the sweatshirt. Ink pens with their name on it and your name on it, or their pictures. Again, these things may take a little long to get back, but maybe you could do a gift card and tell them this is coming. But different things like that. But let's love on the men in our lives. If you have your biological father and you have a relationship with your biological father, do that. If you have a father, do that. Or just someone that you just really look at as a mentor, do that as well. But enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. All right, y'all. Next week is our week leading up to our 4-year anniversary. We're so excited about it. Many of you already know. After next week, there's a 2-week break, and then the young people will come in. Lexi is back with Isaiah. The Lexi and Isaiah show. The young people take over. They will be back on July the 9th. Again, we'll be here next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. July 9th, they'll be back. Isaiah's in the green room, like, partying because he knows it's coming. Come on in here, Isaiah. I know you want to. Come on in. He's so excited. What can they be looking forward to? Can you tell us, you and Lexi?
I can't say too much, but if y'all seen the past Young People Takeover shows, y'all know that the annual segments are coming back. We have Talk About It Tuesday, Well Spoken Wednesday, Throwback Thursday. Y'all know, I know y'all miss them Throwback Thursdays. We gonna talk about it all, the 80s and 90s, the early 2000s, all of it. But be sure that you tune in for the Young People Takeover. Tell your young people to tune in as well. We also gonna talk about some voter registration. You know, we have to talk about that stuff too, but we also gonna keep it fun. Can't say too much, but just stay tuned in.
So we're really excited about them taking over. We are. And then, as y'all know, in August, we have our break. It's a complete break. There won't even be a Friday rundown in August. And we'll be back in September, the Tuesday after Labor Day. We'll be back in September. And we're heavy on voting. And as all of you know, I've been trying to prepare you all. Michael said, Michael Mondays. We miss you, Michael. We've been trying to prepare you all that there will be a change. Even this morning, I was like, God, what are we doing after the elections in November with News in Motion? Now, God didn't say quit. We're not shutting down the broadcast. But it's going to look different after the November 5th elections. Because here's the truth. And I laughed. I was like, God, listen. This is how I talked to God. I said, God, listen. I didn't talk about voting till I'm like just beating people up with the word voting. I was like, there's only so much more I can talk about with voting. I can continue to give some headline news, but how do I connect it? Latrice Jones popped in and said, throw back to the 70s. Listen to mama coming up in here. So we're looking, and what I keep seeing though is the heaviness of financials, and really, really teaching our community about finance. Now, I'm not a guru in that at all, which means I would have it stacked with people to come in here to talk about these things. But y'all, it's all connected. So pray for me as I'm trying to discern which way we're going and how we're going. Now, I've asked God, are we done November 5th? Like, can November 6th, can I sleep in? It was like, no. The way of doing it for 4 years may be over come November 6th, but it's not over. So I'm open to whatever it is that God says. Dr. Antoinette said 2000s are a throwback. Wow, that's a throwback, girl. We had 2024. So yes, that's a throwback. So be praying for us. Again, for all of you who have given, I'll turn it over to Isaiah, who's going to talk about that. The $4. Isaiah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. First off, on behalf of the News in Motion team, we just want to say thank you to everyone who blessed us via Cash App or via Zelle with the $4, 444. No association with Wendy's, not a 4 for 4, but just anything $4 related for our upcoming 4-year anniversary. And it's not too late to, if you still want to give. We have our Cash App. NIM Today. Again, that is NIM Today for the Cash App. If you prefer to do Zelle, you can inbox Miss Gail Dudley for that information. We will get that to you as soon as possible. But on behalf of News in Motion, we just want to say thank you for everyone who gave, donated, whatever you want to call it, to the 4-year anniversary and just supporting us for 4 years. 4 years is a long time, y'all. That's a long time. And we just getting started. We ain't going nowhere. Time to they would say, News in Motion ain't going nowhere. Amen.
Latrice said, we will be praying for Gail. Thank you, Latrice. Thank you. Now I'm going to put Isaiah on the spot because I know he's this gifted. And I just heard him earlier today and I said, oh, he has a word. So I'm going to refrain from sharing the inspirational message and I'm going to shoot it off to Isaiah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Go ahead, put me on the spot, Auntie. But I will say this: it kind of ties into what I said this past Sunday. For those of you who are in Columbus, Ohio, if you watched New Salem's graduation Sunday, I gave a tribute video to my brother, Isaac Jones, who graduated this past school year. Again, congratulations to not only him, but to all of those who graduated in the class of 2024. All I'm going to say is, because I'm really a guy of only few words, all I'm going to say is to my brother, just seeing your growth, seeing all that you have accomplished, overcome, all the odds that you have defined, it is truly awe-inspiring. I am very proud of you, Ike. I love you. The family loves you. Our community loves you. All of the aunties love you. We are so proud of your growth. We can't wait to see what you do in this next chapter. Keep God first in everything that you do and keep praising him unashamedly like you always do, man. No matter where we at, Isaac is always going to have a good time with God. So trust and believe that. And that also inspires me to improve on my walk. This is a moment of vulnerability. It also kind of helps me improve on my walk and realize that my walk isn't like everybody's, and your walk isn't like everybody else's too. Your walk, it may have some more challenges versus more, blessings. You might have to go through some more things to get to that point in life where God wants to position you at. So don't give up. Don't feel discouraged. And it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help for your village, from your family. Because even the smartest person in the room asks for help sometimes. So just don't be afraid of that. That's just the word I had. For like I said, I'm a guy of very few words. I didn't know that Miss Dudley was gonna put me on the spot like that, but it's something I just had to speak from the heart. So
I knew you could handle it, so I have no problem doing that at all. And thank you so much for sharing. You really spoke to me this morning when we were in the green room. Shirley Nicholson said the video. I saw the video on the replay, and I was like, wow. Yes, Marion Jackson, keep God first. That's the inspirational message. Yeah, I can't wait till next week. We're going to have a good time again. We have Heidi that's joining us on Wednesday. She's really been on the front lines with immigration and that border. So I'm excited to have her. I'm excited that she said yes to my invitation to come and join us. So y'all be ready for that conversation on Wednesday. Tuesday, we're still going to do that's happening Tuesday. And then Thursday is the actual anniversary. We're just going to have a good time on Thursday. And then I'm out. I will show back up July the 18th, possibly, to talk about the RNC convention, although the convention doesn't end until that night. I'm not coming on here on that Friday, the 19th, because that's my birthday. And then we'll be taking our break, as I said, again in August. We'll return the Tuesday after Labor Day, focused on voting. Also, in the Friday rundown, you'll get the information to sign up for this whole Juneteenth voter registration. If you want to help all, the community register people to vote, that is going to be in the Friday rundown. You can get the Friday rundown by going to www.gaildudley.com. A pop-up box will come up. I learned yesterday that some people still are not getting them. So I need to find out why it's not connecting, sending your name to that platform. So we'll get that worked on. But if you have not received it and you want to receive it, send me an email and I will manually put you in there. Just say, sign me up for the email and give me the email. Give me your email address. You can go to NewsInMotionWithGail@gmail.com. Again, that's NewsInMotionWithGail@gmail.com. And send us that email and we will make sure you are signed up for the Friday. It goes out every Friday. So if you're not getting it, then there's a disconnect between, it's not communicating from our website to the newsletter. And we need to find out why that's happening. But you can send me an email and say, hey, sign me up for the email and I will add you. All right, y'all, that's all we have for today. Y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember, make some bold moves. We're out.
NewsInMotion.